Today I'm gonna give you 5 or probably 6, maybe 7, a bunch of reasons why you need a reptile room. And this seems to be the perfect time because a lot of the turtles and animals that were in hibernation are waking up, like the Platysterenon, the Sacalia and the lovely Shinosaurus. If you are watching this video, you probably are interested in or already take care of herpetofauna. And many of you probably are keeping your animals in your living spaces, which can be super cool. But I feel that if you want to do this right, you need a reptile room like this one. And I'm gonna tell you why. The first reason is pretty practical, but still a good one. And that is that taking care of animals is messy. It can be messy, it will be messy, it must be messy. And of course, once we are done taking care of our animals, we clean up. But isn't it nice to have all the mess just contained in one space and being able to just do what you want without impacting the rest of the living area? Before we continue this video, I would like to know, do you have a reptile room? And if so, what do you like about your reptile room? Why do you have it? And what are some tips for the people thinking about decorating or setting up their own? When we feed our animals, especially insects, can escape. Now, this can happen, and a lot of you maybe don't mind having a cricket at 2 at night somewhere behind your refrigerating going absolutely ballistic. But I go crazy. And maybe your housemates will feel the same. So best to have an extra barrier and at least keep them somewhat contained. You know what a reptile room also contains? Your animals. Now, I am certain that you always make sure that none of your animals can escape. But things happen. And in the living room, there are more factors than only you. There are maybe other pets, there are maybe other occupants, or worse, kids. Stuff breaks, stuff falls. You never know what's gonna happen. I don't know about you, but I like to have my doors open, my windows open, especially in the summer. And imagine somehow an animal is getting out of its setup, and in that case there's an option it can harm itself, or maybe another pet, or worse, it will end up outside in an environment that is not really suited for your animal. That's why we keep them in terrariums. But also it might end up on the local news, and that is never good for our hobby. A reptile room is like this extra safety blanket. Not only in case an animal gets out, you have a smaller area to search in and an extra barrier before it ends up outside. But more importantly, it prevents a lot of those accidents waiting to happen in your living room, like your kid. By the way, if you are a venomous snake keeper, I would advise you to get a door with this glass inside of it. This way you can always look in first before you enter your room. And this way, this is just an extra safety barrier in case anybody got out. You can see them laying there instead of being surprised. With all that said, the most important reason for me to have a reptile room and why I think you should have one too is climate control. A lot of the species you and I keep are found in climates that are not the one in our home country. Otherwise we would have kept them outside. But we keep these animals from all these exotic places and we need to maintain certain conditions, including temperature and humidity. Now, my living room is nowhere near the conditions that are needed for a lot of these animals. Sometimes it's too dry, sometimes it's too cold. Now, we spend a lot of energy getting all these different lights, all these basking spots to make sure that the climate in this terrarium is what it needs to be. Problem is, we need ventilation. And imagine if this terrarium needed to be 28 degrees, my living room is about 17.5 to 19 degrees Celsius. That cold air is being pulled in the living space of my animal. And not only is there ventilation, as soon as I do this, it's all gone. But by having all the enclosures that I have, including all the animals, in one area, I cannot control all the individual setups, but I can control the room. I can control my light cycle, I can control my ventilation, I can control the air temperature or drop in this room, and it's all way easier, so I don't have to do that individually. So you can create like a baseline that is way easier to maintain than having all these different setups with different climates in your living area. And that is also why I always recommend to choose animals from the same climate, from the same conditions. At least choose some animals that experience like this baseline that is easy for you to maintain in your reptile room. It makes it so much easier for yourself. You spend a whole lot less energy trying to manipulate all these different climates, and it's better for your animals because their environment is just way more stable as having all of them in your living room. Especially when your selection of animals grows because you have projects or you breed, taking care of them takes a bit more effort, and creating an efficient way of taking care of them, almost sort of a system, will aid you in your consistency and your quality of care. Now, this reason is not there to make sure you can expand your collection as big as possible and to take as many animals as you can. The reason I'm saying this is that an efficient and simple way of taking care of your animals will improve your quality, will improve your consistency, and also make sure there's actually time left to do all the extra stuff that will benefit your animals and your own experience. And of course, having a reptile room is just super cool. I love spending time in here. Just look at this, it's so much fun. You're surrounded by your favorite animals. You have flowing water, you have plants, there's a bit of noise. I'm sorry, but I absolutely love that. And the last thing I would like to say to you, what's nice about a reptile room is something I'm gonna do right now. And that is this. My mind is always on, and if I would have my reptiles in my living room, I will be distracted all the time. So sometimes it's better to just contain the thoughts and get some other stuff done.